fun than that, though. Let's go back to this. Here, I'm going to do this again. Okay, let's hear that. Kind of obnoxious, sorry about that, but it does very cleanly demonstrate that this thing is happening, which is more crucial for me than making the coolest sound in the world. Okay, so one thing we haven't talked about is the rate knob here. So, of course, since this is all digital information, you can adjust the speed at which it happens. Let's go fast first so you can really hear it happen. As you'll remember, I did not play it that fast. You'll get a whole different outcome. It's kind of a distortion, really. Which is fun. Let's hear it slow down. Because there's a pause at the beginning of my motion record, you can actually, the motion record takes a long time to come in when you slow down the rate like that. So, yeah, I mean, there are just so many. I mean, the first thing that you would think to do is certainly to mess around with the filter cutoff and doing this, but you could do more interesting things like pulse width. You can have pulse width modulation that suits your particular desire till the cows come. Here, let's do this. Let's make a square wave here. Okay, now I'm going to record this again. All right, so oh, where did I start it with? Sounds like I have not done this right. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Record arm. See, because you have 6 voices, that means 6 different square waves, 6 different pulse width modulations. So they're all going to happen on their own independently. So you get 6 different independent modulations, which is really not what you get on any vintage analog polysynth ever. But man, yeah. So there is a lot going on with this synthesizer. And just imagine, okay, so I did that. Now, let's say I'm playing with one hand and I have a second oscillator and I start like morphing. You just get, there's such a huge, tremendous possibility for incredibly complex, lush, beautiful, thick sounds. And then if you were doing something like you went over here to the mods and then you chose oscillator 1's frequency and you did that thing that I won't stop doing where you assign lagged sample and hold to frequency. And then you slow it way down, and then you turn it way down. And then you put poly, so each note is not only getting its own independent LFO, but it's getting independent motion record pulse width modulation. You will never, ever, with any analog synthesizer you can name that is a keyboard-based knob per function synthesizer, you're never going to get something that is that variable, that's that rich and lush and has that many things. And like, we're barely using any of the functionality here. There's a million things that could also be happening while I'm doing this. The LFO could then be, you know, modulating wave shape on one of the oscillators as well as those things, and filter, and then we could be using an LFO or the third LFO to do something interesting with harmonics. And you're just not going to find functionality like this on other knob per function analog synthesizers. It's astounding, and there's just no end to it. They really have packed this thing full. And yes, I am gushing, but I'm just not accustomed to having this. You know, I demonstrate old vintage synthesizers. I don't get a chance to have this much modulation. This is a digital level of modulation functionality in an analog signal path synthesizer, and it's really something. And that is the motion record on the Arturia PolyBrute.